Hello to all you Spurs fans near and far across the world. This is the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans Podcast, a podcast from a bunch of yids to all you yids around the world, and we have made it. Spurs fans, we have made it. We are on our way to Bilbao. Somehow we're on our way to Bilbao, but it is not at the expense of what is a dog shit sandwich of a Premier League season. Now, some may not care about it. Some will. We'd love to have what you think about it in our chat tonight. We are live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. And of course, if you're listening to our pod in our normal way, we are across all streaming platforms. It's myself, Lee Tarrier, Kevin Dennis, and a returning from his stag, fresh as a daisy, TJ Smith. How you doing, boys? You all right?
Hola.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Dos cervezas, por favor.
Hey. Well, I mean, TJ, I'll start with you. When we talk about Bilbao, you was in Ibiza watching the game. Where did you find it? Did you take over the pub? What was it like?
Yeah, so we were staying in Playa de Embosa. So I know a few people recommended some Irish bar, including yourself, in San Antonio. But we had obviously the first day I was in the airport at 3 a.m. doing shots and pints at 3 a.m. So by the time I got to the game, I was just about able to stand up. I got dressed as a sexy nun as well, which was a new one for me. Yeah, so I had all stockings and all that on. But yeah, it was a bit of a mad one. So we just found some bar, like a local bar, and apparently it's known for. I think someone told me afterwards. I mean, I don't know if this is right because I can't remember, but someone told me it was called Coco's, and they show all sport there. So we ended up there, and we ended up with a table front and centre because a few of the boys got there early. And we just took over. There was 18 strong, I think, in the end, 19 strong. So yeah, and everyone was there for the football. So yeah, we were loud. We let everyone know the Yid Army was there anyway. Was
it a party time all through the night after that?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I don't remember much of it, mate. Apparently, I just walking down the street singing Spurs songs afterwards, and somehow ended up in bed, asleep, probably about an hour.
Yeah, I've seen you do that on 4th Street, mate. So nothing new there.
Yeah, good. It was good. I mean, the whole stag was brilliant, but yeah, obviously Spurs going through. Now we're going to Bilbao. Now we've got the flights booked already as well, so definitely wouldn't have been able to book them at that point. It's just exciting, isn't it? Like you said at the beginning in the intro, such a shit season in the league, but we're in a European final. And I know obviously Liverpool in the Champions League, but I feel confident, slightly confident about this one. And I just can't wait to get out there. I mean, I've just got back off my stag and I'm going to Bilbao in fucking 9 days. So Mrs. ain't too happy, but all good otherwise.
Is the wedding still on?
Oh, 100%, mate. Yeah, no, I'm all joking. Listen, I make jokes and stuff, but no, she's good as gold, man. She's sweet. Yeah, we're. She said you can't miss it to me. She said to me, "You're not going to miss that." I went, "No chance. Got to go."
Oh, mate. I mean, it's my wedding anniversary.
She's a keeper there, T. She's a keeper.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's top girl. Give Carly her dues, mate. She's top girl.
It's, as I was saying, it's on the 21st of May, it's my 3rd wedding anniversary. Got married 21st of May 2022, and I thought, what am I going to do? And she held me out to dry for a bit. I can't lie. She was like, you can't watch it. We're going for dinner. But luckily I said to her, because we had 2 ceremonies. That was the sort of law and the big whole shindig wedding on the 21st. But on the 19th, because my wife's Indian, we had an Indian ceremony. So I said, well, why don't we alternate our wedding anniversary celebrations each year? So starting this year, let's do it on the 19th, on the Monday night, and then I'll be good to go on the Wednesday. So, no, but she was good as gold. So I am looking, I mean, I'm going to ask you, Kev, in a minute about all your journeys, and Tej, I'm going to ask you. But I am looking to go to Tottenham. I don't know if I'm going to do the stadium, because I was going to ask, so what happens with you lot? Because I'm not a member, so basically tickets go out. They're showing it at the stadium. Tickets are available on Wednesday for season ticket and One Hotspur members. If you bought a ticket for that, does it cancel against you buying tickets if you were going to Bilbao? because basically I haven't got a membership anymore, so I'm sort of scouting around, seeing what the deal is. But has anyone heard any different? I wonder if anyone who's watching us has seen any different on that as well.
I don't know is the answer to your question, mate. I did think of that because obviously my dad ain't a season ticket holder, so I thought it'd be good for him and like the family that are staying here to go down the ground and watch it. But yeah, I don't see how it would counteract it, because obviously if you're going through UEFA to get your final ticket, and then obviously you go through Spurs to get the stadium ticket. But yeah, I don't know. I probably won't risk it, mate, is the honest truth.
But... No, that's fair. I mean, we've got loads of members that ain't going, so I'm going to try and get one of them. But I'm still undecided about whether I want to be in the ground, because they're not putting screens on the pitch this time because of the Brighton game on the Sunday. They don't want to wreck the pitch. So it's only those four corners, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, those screens are good.
You know what, though, Lee? If I was you, I'd probably go. I think you'd have a better atmosphere in the pub. I mean, like,
that's what I'm thinking.
I remember the missus taking Cody to the ground for the Champions League, and I think them screens in the middle of the pitch were quite beneficial, more beneficial for the lower lot.
Yeah.
But like where my seats are, you've got the screen right above your head, so it would probably work. But yeah, I mean, I gave Shell my 2 tickets when I went, but then I didn't have a match ticket for the Champions League final. I just went over there, so no one knew I was over there, so they could use my tickets. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably with TJ. I mean, I don't know if you'd want to chance it, but that's Spurs and like TJ, this is UEFA you're dealing with for the final tickets itself, so it might not even matter. But I mean, I'm not being funny, but for the amount we pay, we should be entitled to give our family members our tickets to go to the stadium and watch it if they want to. Do you know what I mean? They shouldn't begrudge you that. But yeah, I'm not sure. But I'm sure you'll be able to get one, Lee. But if I was you, without them screens there, I think it'd be a good chat, good atmosphere in the pubs.
I think you're right. I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to there's a few of us lads that are talking about it, and the tickets has been a thing. But I watched the semi-final when you guys were in the lane. I watched it in the coach and I loved it, and was in the Bricklayers before with you guys. So even if I did a bit of a pub crawl between those two, really, and even as far as the Beehive,
them pubs will be rammed for the final.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I saw a TikTok of somebody who was at the Beehive for the semi-final second leg. It was packed. It was absolutely rammed. I was like, wow. I knew like the first leg, a lot of people will come down and soak up the atmosphere pre-match and post-match. But obviously when it was in Bodo, of course, a lot couldn't go there. It was only 400, just over 400, but it was packed in the Beehive. So I'm looking forward to a big atmosphere down Tottenham High Road that day. And if they fucking win, Jesus Christ, there'll be that night. But even more importantly, there'd be a parade. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm a bit like TJ. I'm quietly confident. But Kev, we talked about points last week. TJ said about it. 208. How are you looking with it? You think it's going to be all right?
Yeah, as the cutoff, you mean, for the tickets?
Yeah. How's it looking for you?
Yeah, no, we're good. I'm on a bit more than that, so I was all right. I think I've kind of watched so many different videos of people sort of estimating what it would be, and obviously TJ's one for when you get advice from TJ what it's going to be, you kind of sort of lean on that because it's going to be here, there, or about. So yeah, I was kind of always confident I'd get one. I was never in doubt. But even if I didn't get one, I would have been happy just to be over there watching it, even in a bar, as long as you're over there and you're with everybody. So yeah, for me, it's a bonus going in. I mean, like I said it last week, it'd be my son's first ever Euro away trip. And he's going to a final. But before we knew we had the tickets, he said to me, I'd be happy just to go over there and watch it in a bar, Dad. I mean, he's got some sort of like exams that week as well, so he's getting out of that. So that's probably why he said I don't mind going over. But by the way, they're not important exams, just in case people are fucking judging me parenting. I've read right into it. Then they're not that important, the exams. So he'll be going over there, and yeah, so we're quite lucky. But I have said to people who just missed out, definitely get over there. If you've got your travel and all that, still go over there, because I was over there for the Champions League final, didn't have a ticket, and it was brilliant out there. So I've done that, and I've also done that with many Europa League games where I've gone over there just for the thing and then gone into the stadium, and you can still, once you meet in a square, it's it's party atmosphere, and it's just an experience. We say all the time, we're going abroad with Spurs, whether it's for a Europa League game or something of this importance, it's a real experience if you haven't been, and if you haven't been to a final before, a European final, I mean, definitely get out there. It will be it'd be great. And then if we do get the result, I can imagine the streets of Bilbao are just going to be electric. So yeah, either way, if you didn't get a ticket, or if you do, still get out there and enjoy yourselves.
Big time. We've got our people on their Instagram, Jay Costin, Yid Army saying Hotspur Heritage, our fantastic sponsors. They're going to be at the Bill Nick. They reckon they couldn't get a flight and not a season ticket holder, but they're going to be at the pub, which is not a bad thing. They reckon the pubs will be lively. Not sure with the ground. A few people have said that. That's like yourself, Kev. It's just made me double check it. But in terms of your travel, are you still, you've got your trip to Murcia and you're driving down, everything sorted in that sense?
Yeah, we're just the only thing we've got to do now is we're hiring a car from Murcia to
They've got to find someone sober to drive it.
So for Murcia to Bilbao, I think it's about 6-7 hours. I think so. We're not going the full stretch. We're stopping in Burgos for a night and got a hotel there. Gonna have like some dinner, have a quiet one, really, drinks and a bit of steak. Get an early night and then obviously drive over the rest of the journey, which is about 2 hours after that in the morning to Bilbao. So yeah, looking forward to having a good night in Bilbao. I still need to find somewhere to crash. Obviously, I'm taking my boy over there, so really, I don't know if he'd be up for staying out all night. So, but you can't get any digs over there. That's the problem. Everyone's just out on a bender. But with the boy, I'm sure I'll see someone over there I know, and I'll end up sleeping in the bath or something with my boy in someone's room. I can imagine. But yeah, listen, do the night, and then Thursday we're driving back down to the south of Spain to Alicante and staying in Benidorm for a night. So yeah, we're having a good few days, and a big shout out to a guy called Jason Mara who sits in front of me, and I've just found out he's in Benidorm on a family holiday on that Thursday, so it'd be nice to meet him up. And yeah, then Friday we come home. So, but Benidorm would be great if we won it. It'd be a good night out. And my boy will experience Benidorm at 14, so I'm sure he won't forget it either.
But Tej, going to yourself, I know you spoke a little bit about it. I think it's to Rome, then there, and then to Athens and back. How many points did you say last week? How many did you estimate?
I went a little bit higher, so I run the numbers, and I think I over predicted how many they would give to corporate. So right. I thought it was going to be like 230. I did say I'm normally like within 10, but so obviously I'm a little bit further out this time. I was about 22 out. But yeah, so 208's like pretty low. Like most people I know got one. So I think a lot of season ticket holders that got their season ticket when we went to Wembley probably got one. Like if you got it after that, you would have had to do a lot of games to get that many. But yeah, I think anyone that got their ticket when they went to Wembley's probably got one, unless they just don't go. But yeah, so that's what I thought. But I will say one thing, because I know you mentioned the stadium as well. I did the stadium for the Champions League final. Same reason as Kev. I didn't have a ticket at the time when we got there. I didn't have enough loyalty points to get one. So I went to the stadium. Thankfully, I knew somebody at the time who had like good connections and was in a box and all that. So we was actually in the players' lounge, so that was like obviously they weren't fucking there, but yeah, we watched it with like all like corporate kind of like food and grub, so that was nice, and we had a really good view of the screens on the pitch. But again, I do think if you're looking for a better atmosphere, I mean, it was a shit game, that one as well, but if you're looking for a better atmosphere, I think the pubs are the one. Like I if I weren't going, I'd love the idea of being on the high street afterwards if we won. I remember 2008 when we won the League Cup and the high street that night. And that's a League Cup final. So imagine what it's going to be like if we win the Europa League. It's going to be insane. So I would recommend the pubs as well. Like not to nick it away from Spurs. Like they do a good job in the stadium, but it's something about being in the boozer, beer flying everywhere. It's a little bit more tame in the ground, isn't it? Like it's not exactly the same. So yeah, that'd be my recommendation. But in terms of like how I'm getting there, so I followed Matty a little bit. I took a little bit of advice off Matty, but I didn't do his journey back because I thought he's flying to fucking Greece and going to see the Parthenon or whatever it is and all that. Like fuck that. Like he's going to be over there for hours. So yeah, I thought no, I'm going to try and get. So I spent a little bit more than him, not much more, but I thought come back different. So we're leaving on the Tuesday night at, I think it's about 9 o'clock from, I'll say Gatwick, and we're going to Rome. And then we've got like a 4-hour layover at night in the airport in Rome. And then we fly from Rome to Bilbao, and we get into Bilbao at like 8 a.m.
Oh,
so we're literally there right in the morning for match day, ready to go. And then we've all got to wait until, I think the next flights after the game are like 6 a.m. So we've got one of those from Bilbao to Madrid, and then Madrid to back to London. So yeah, so I think, to be fair, we're not even out of the country 48 hours like for ours. I know some boys, like the lady who comes to my house, like helps out with the cleaning and that. She was talking about her. I know her son quite well. She was saying that he's going from like Monday to Friday, like doing a proper like road trip on it and all that, like, and so they're gonna have a good one, similar to what Kev's doing, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's horses for courses. I'm just, the long trips, a bit of a struggle for me now, like time off work and all that. But nah, listen, any way you get there, you're gonna have a great time, and you're gonna have really enjoy it. So yeah, don't worry about how you get there. Just get there. That's the main thing.
Well, that's it. And we're on our way there. You guys are definitely on their way there. Tickets out tomorrow. I hope it all goes and you get the spaces you want, lads. But I mean, we're there through a really accomplished performance against a poor side. I don't think anyone would ever say Bodo were anything special, but you've got to go out there, and they've shown over the competition that they've scored against every team. They've not lost in their home ground, and we went there and done a job with a clean sheet. And then 3 days later, albeit with a bit of a changed team, it was Groundhog Day in the Premier League. It was our 20th loss, which it's unacceptable in many ways. And there couldn't be more Spurs of a season to lose and be as bad. We're literally, the last place before you get relegated. And for us to then go on to a final and to possibly win it, it couldn't be more Spurs, as I say. But looking at it, Kev, like, did you watch the game yesterday, and what did you think between that and Thursday? Could you look into it with anything? I know heads are in Bilbao already and no one wants to get injured, but did it still mean a lot to you, that game against Palace, in terms of the grander scheme of things?
I'll be honest, yesterday I did not watch the game. I didn't go to the game. I didn't watch the game. My under 14s won the league yesterday, so we literally just went. Yeah, thank you. Cheers. A few of them will be listening to this, so I think they'll be happy about that. But yeah, no. So I literally just went straight out on the piss, and I was in a pub garden, and obviously I didn't have the game on because it went on TV. So in regards to yesterday's game, I'm literally pointless being on here because I haven't got an input on it. Obviously, I know what the score was. I looked at the stats and I saw that it wasn't that great. But, I can't really talk about yesterday. I mean, I can tell you that Thursday, obviously, was a different sort of game, and probably expected Bodo to be a bit better than they was, considering who they've knocked out. And obviously, they had to chase the game and try and score. But yeah, I thought we dealt with it well. I didn't think they were great, but I still thought we dealt with it well. I don't think you can take that away from us. So yeah, just a bit of a professional display, and I keep saying that me and TJ had this little thing going for like the last month or so, where we're kind of at loggerheads with it, and I can finally say that I am on TJ's wavelength now, and I've joined the boat of not giving a shit about. And I think it's maybe because we're now in the final as well. I think literally, like the Villa game, I'm probably not even going to watch it. I mean, it's for me now. It's just about getting players out there like Mikey Moore and these sort of players who ain't getting minutes in the league, players who you are not really going to be involved too much in the final. I just think it's about giving them games now and obviously keeping our key players fit. So yeah, I mean, I just don't really care. My head's in Bilbao now, and I just can't wait for the final. So Aston Villa away and Brighton at home just don't appeal to me anymore. So it's just about, for me now, about keeping players fit and prepare and getting the best shape to play Man United in that final. So yeah, I can't really talk about yesterday, mate, but by the sounds of it and what I've heard, we were absolute shit, and so was the crowd and everything else. So yeah, I'm glad I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I watched it on the Dodgy Box, and I've got to say, I know that there was quite a few changes. Kulu obviously stayed in, a couple of others, Porro. I thought Kinski played well. I mean, I'm not sure that's a good thing, but he played really well. I just felt that again, we just looked too open. We looked like they could cut through us. We didn't look like we had a lot of invention. And I don't want to come in here knocking us, because this is a time to look forward and be really buoyant about what's coming. But I think that the worry for me is that there is that stat now, which is 20 losses. It's it's not even arguably, it is our worst ever Premiership season, and 20 losses any other year, we'd probably be in some serious trouble. And we're playing the team that's just above us, Man United, in the final, which is absolute madness. And I don't think any of us are going to be in this position next year, not at all. But with that in mind, TJ, I'm sure you did, and I'm sure Kev did, and I'm sure everyone who's listening and watching did, that lovely speech that Ange done in the dressing room after the match, and you could see the passion. The club means a lot to him, or his job means a lot to him, and the fact that he's kept those players together, they were delighted for him. They hugged him on that pitch in Bodo. Do you know what I mean? There was a real sense of togetherness, and on Friday morning, there's a lot of people on Twitter going, "Oh man, like fucking hell." Do we really want him out now? Do we really I don't know what to think now. And then this game happens. It's too alarming to not get emotional about it, isn't it? When you think of next season, because I don't know if
thing is, though, Lee. Sorry, before you jump in with Tej, I mean, I was a bit like that to the point when I see them embracing him and hugging him, and I saw his dressing room speech and all that, and it kind of makes you think, oh, do you know what? What if he can sort them out? Can he be this?
Yeah.
But then the Palace result is the Palace result. If we would have won against Palace, do you think people would still feel the same about it, or do you still feel people would still feel the same about that he should go? I mean, I don't think that Palace result was that significant, whether he won it or not. I think a lot of people have made their mind up on him. But
yeah,
where he loses all these next 3 league games and then goes and wins the Europa League, I still think people are going to be a bit like, can he do it? Because the scenes and celebrations, if we win it, are going to be unforgettable, and you're going to want that. You're not going to want to ruin that by letting someone go and having someone new in. But again, 20 losses isn't acceptable. So it's just like, do you do a Man United? Do you keep him on like they did with Ten Hag and then sack him after 10 games? Like, what do you do? Or have you made your decision on him already?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about it. I think that's the problem, that it is an alarming figure, and we can't lie that the fact that there's been 3 pretty poor teams that have gone down quite early has been a bit of a saving grace for us, because before you know it, we could have been in a relegation battle in other years. We've not hit 40 points. So, he's obviously shown Tej that he can do it. Like Wolfsburg was a very accomplished performance. Bodo, very accomplished performance. Don't like Kev said, don't matter who you're playing. You've got to go out there and do a job, a professional job. And we more than done that in those 2 away ties in the last 2 rounds. But is this the perfect way to end a journey with Ange, or is it the way of going, actually, there have been a lot of circumstances, and Palace take that out, and maybe we should think about him next season if he wins it?
Listen, it's a tough one. Like, in my opinion, and I've said it a lot of times on this podcast, we've sacked better managers for a lot less than what we've seen in the league this year. And that's where it starts getting difficult, because I mean, how do you sack the guy that wins the trophy that we haven't won for 40 odd years, but also the guy who breaks the trophy duct in general at Spurs? It's a generational thing that we haven't won trophies. It's that bad. But I don't know. I'm kind of like what Kev said is kind of where my head's at, is that the league, and it has been for a while, the league's gone, it's done. Like, we all have our opinion of Ange. Like, I felt like when he speaks, I've never not liked him when he speaks, if that makes sense. Like,
I hear you.
He always comes across well, right? And like, that speech in the dressing room wasn't a surprise to me. Like, yes, I fucking loved it, because it's like where the boys are like, you feel the pride and you get the tingles down the back when and you start thinking, yes, fucking final, let's have it. And that's how it sort of feels. But when it comes to whether he stays next season, for me, that conversation just needs to be put on hold. Like I don't think he will be there anyway. If I'm being honest, I think, I don't know. Maybe he might just see it as I won the trophy. It's not worked out. Thanks. Like we've seen it happen with other managers. We had that year when Ramos won it, the League Cup. He was gone like 2 months later the next season. Erik ten Hag at United this season. How many times? What's his name? The Chelsea one, Di Matteo, when he won the Champions League for the first time, got sacked like 6 months later. Crazy. Like, so whatever happens, you'll get blasted. Like whether you sack them or you keep them, like someone's always going to have an opinion on it. I just think that conversation's for after the end of the season. Like I think just enjoy it. Just enjoy the fact that we're in a final.
Do you think that they've made their mind up on it? Because I feel like at this level, if the board have made their mind up about you, and you may have won something in the summer like a Ten Hag or Postecoglou might, I feel like they're kind of waiting for you just to trip up. Once they've made your mind up that they don't think you're good enough. I mean, I think that's the reason why we got rid of Mourinho, right before that final, because if you won it, then you'd have had to keep him on. I mean, they're obviously adamant about getting rid of Mourinho. But, like, do you think the mind's already made up? And, obviously they'd be expecting a miracle for Ange to start the season next season and win 8 or 9 games out of his first 10. But at what point do they pull the trigger? If they do give him the start of the season, what's acceptable and what ain't acceptable in your first 10 games after you've won a major cup?
Well, listen, you're in the Champions League. If you win it, you're in the Champions League, right? So, firstly, if the board whoever they're going to bring in, they need to back them, right? But yeah, if you say, like you say, if they decided once listen, I do believe that they've probably had a conversation and been like, if he loses, he's gone. Like, there's no question. Like, everyone wants him gone at that point. Like, we can't. You haven't won the trophy. It's been a great cup run, but you haven't won the trophy. You got to go. The league form is fucking terrible. Like you say, it's the worst we've seen. But they've probably sat there and gone, if he wins, we need to consider the fact that we might need to keep him on. But who knows? Like, I just think if you get to next season and you don't invest in that squad with experience to deal with the Champions League and to deal with the fact that you're going to have all these teams that have competed this year go again, then what? Then I don't know.
It's that thing, Tej. Are you going to back a manager financially to strengthen a squad that you've already half your mind's already made up on him, and you're thinking, I don't know if he's good enough? How much are you going to let that manager invest in the team of the players that he wants when you've got one eye on getting rid of him if he has his first 10 games go down the shit, How much?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I think if we start the next season and we don't win any of the first 5, then he'll go. It'll be gone by like September. Honestly, it'll be that bad.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's a big thing to sort of take that risk. We saw it with Ten Hag, but we've also seen it with us. I mean, they wanted to get rid of Yol. They kept him for 2 months, replaced him with Ramos. AVB, they did that. They brought in Sherwood. Obviously, Poch, they did it with Mourinho. Then they did Nuno with Conte. We've got a habit of doing that, and I'm not sure it always helps. I mean, you could say...
Yeah, do you think, Lee, that's why they haven't pulled the trigger? Because they are having to realise that chopping and changing every time just isn't going to do it. But a couple of good players, different players, and the way Ange wants to play, can your fortunes change? I mean, we heard it from Perryman about Birkinshaw when he got relegated, and we've seen other managers as well. Alex Ferguson had a shit time at Aberdeen before. A shit time at Man United, and they was going to sack him after he left, after he joined them from Aberdeen. So sometimes I know the game's different now and there's more money in it, but sometimes it ain't always the answer of just sacking managers.
Agreed.
But I don't know how much they are going to invest and ask Ange who he wants, go out and get him, then sack him after 5 games, because then the next guy who comes in might not want these players. Now in our chairman, I'd like to think he's already got someone ready to rock and roll as soon as he gets rid of Ange, whenever it's now or the first 10 games. I'd like to think he's got something sorted if it does go wrong. But it's the whole point of investing in players. Like, how do you invest in a manager that you don't believe in? I mean, I just find it crazy how they would do that,
Yeah, and I think this is the thing, isn't it? If they haven't got someone in mind, then we don't want to put ourselves in a problem where you get rid of him and then you're rushing around and trying to find someone at the last minute, because it's not that easy to get it right. And if you don't, then you're just in the same predicament, and you're probably going to go through the same shit we've had to go through again and again before. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because we know, based on that statement they made about 5 weeks ago, the board, it wasn't a promising one. It wasn't one that said, okay, like, it's a tough year, but we're going to invest next year, and hopefully the Europa League will equal the Champions League, and we'll push on. There wasn't really none of that. There was almost like a bit of a sort of downbeat tone to what that statement was when they talked about the finances and that they've got to be realistic. And I was a bit like, oh, okay. So, we can only see. What I love is that Ange has talked about the attitude that he wants to bring into this club. He said in a press conference, he said, these boys walk into the training ground, they walk into the stadium, and they see these wonderful pictures of like 1984 Perriman's years and all that, amazing pictures. But he goes, those pictures are black and white. We need to bring it up to date. This club needs to know what it is about winning. They need to have that. It can't think about, Spursy, not that it does itself, but that tag on it. They need to start thinking like winners. And I've got
thing is, Lee, that really hasn't been there since the 80s. You know what I mean?
No, it hasn't.
We're now like 40 odd. Do you know what I mean? And we've missed out 40 odd years of this team having a winning mentality, like the boys in the 60s, 70s, and 80s did. I mean, 40 years. I mean, that's a that's a rotten core of the club, of where they don't believe in winning things. And we've seen in so many semi-finals and a few finals as well that we just don't have that winning mentality. And it's like, when is that going to change? And a lot of people say it'll only change when we have an ambitious board who are ready to go out and buy ready-made world-class players. And I agree with them to a point. But financially, we need to look after ourselves as well. So I don't know. It's just been there so long. We're just all used to it.
I agree. Yeah, what's interesting, and I totally agree. We've done talks, especially this season, about the board and what we think about the board. We've done it since the inception of this podcast, but really this year, when we saw that we were struggling with the injuries and they didn't really do anything in January until the very last minute, their argument, which is a bit of a bitch to us, but they can say from 2019 to 2025, we've been in the two top European Cups and a League Cup final. This is what they'll be saying. This is not what I'm saying, but this is what they'll be saying. Before that, there was a League Cup in 2015. There has been 5 Champions League seasons out of 9. They are going to make these arguments. And I know that Levy is definitely making these arguments that basically he could turn around and go, well, we've invested into a team that's made, 3 major finals in the last 6 years, 2 of them the creme de la creme in Europe, but we haven't got over the line. I mean, this is the rock and a hard place we're in. Do you know what I mean, TJ? Because he's going to make that statement. I've heard what he said. We've made Champions League, we've made League Cups, we've made FA Cup semi-finals. We're going to have that against us when he says, well, how can you tell me I don't invest?
But then where is? But also those competitions have become more accessible, right? Like they have become like more teams qualify for those competitions now. So yes, we've had the situation where we're making Champions League more regularly. Yes, we're competing into the latter parts of tournaments, but the reason we haven't got over the line is because you haven't invested deep enough in the squad. We watched the Pochettino era just age before our eyes with no rotation in that at all. And I'm sitting there thinking, we should have won something. That was the best Tottenham team we've seen in 30 years. And we didn't win a thing. And the reason is because we didn't do what everyone said, which was just to update the squad, get enough people in. You're watching players get to 30 odd years old and still trying to compete with them at the latter end. And Pochettino somehow managed to do it. But the problem was it wasn't enough. And that's why we didn't do it. So I don't buy the argument that, we've been in these tournaments, so it shows investment. Oh, here's our spend. It shows we've invested. But you've invested badly. You bought Ndombele for 60 million.
Thing is, Tej, when they're talking about getting their argument of getting far into competitions and being in them, I mean, for me, that only benefits one thing, and that benefits the club and the bank account. that doesn't benefit us supporters that pay that fucking money that we pay every year. And I'm not even talking about how much we pay if we travel abroad and everything else. So being in competitions, yes, is great at the start, but then I want my teams competing and winning them. But
Yeah.
when you are just the money that you're receiving for getting into the Champions League, when it's been like what TJ saying, when it's not being invested deep into the squad, really, what is the point of being in it? Because you're never going to compete. You're never going to win a trophy. You're getting the money, but then when are the supporters going to get what they deserve out of it, which is success, a cup final success, memories that we're going to hopefully have in Bilbao. And it's took us 40 odd years to get to Poplar Champions League, a European final. I mean, you can say it's all good being in these competitions, but if you can't compete in and win them, where's the argument there? You invest into the squad with the money, then we might have a better chance of winning things. And that's why we fell short.
I think that's the worry, isn't it? Just, I was sort of playing on that flip side because I have heard him say already, oh, we've made the European Champions League final. We've made 2 League Cup finals in the last 10 years. We've made 2 FA Cup semi-finals. Now he's adding the Europa League final to that. We know how it works. And I think everyone here, like, we've got people throwing in messages, which are great ones. Big Bear Ron says the simple answer is a takeover by ambitious owners. And I see fans argue with one another over these leeches, but if they came together, they can affect change. We've seen that. But again, this is the problem. Levy will have the argument of what more do you want? Getting over the line in a final over 90 minutes is the knife edge between success and failure, which we shouldn't agree with. And it isn't right, because I think, as we've seen, there's been some fantastic management, especially from Pochettino, and Ange, even, he's got it right in Europe. We can't really fault him in this because he's gone and done a job in the away games when we've had to get the job done. But it's a tough one in that sense. And I think that's how it's really tough because, you look at what's happening in Bilbao. And for me, the Champions League is a great carrot, but I want the trophy more than anything, and I'm sure you lads are the same. The cup, that night, the European Cup, the Europa League, that's what we want. And then the Champions League next season is Champions League. It's great. We want to be there. The nights back under the lights, the Champions League anthem, playing the best players, the best teams in White Hart Lane. Incredible. But it's about that trophy.
The thought of this team being in the Champions League makes me fucking want to vomit. I mean, like,
this is true.
I mean, listen, it'd be great to win the cup. I'm not even thinking about the Champions League. I think for people that are going to that game, I think it just would be about being there and seeing your team lift the European Cup. I mean, the Champions League thing is just a bit of a bonus for me. I'm not even thinking about that because we've been in it so much and never done anything in it. But to win that cup, I mean, the thought of us going to a Champions League with this squad, I mean, it'd just be a fucking waste of time. And it's just another thing about getting the right manager in charge and getting someone set in stone and being able to build a squad that's ready to compete in the Champions League. But the way we are at the moment, I just think we're not at that right stage of Spurs in terms of what we got to compete in that. But if we can get a UEFA Cup final, if we can go out in the group stage at the Champions League next year, but I'm going to get a UEFA Cup out of it, then I'm happy to swallow that. Do you know what I mean? Everything's about next week when we're in Bilbao and the memories that we can all make together as supporters and people like me and TJ have been going for years to be together to watch us lift that cup, and it'd just be something special. So for me, fuck everything else that happens after that. It is what it is, but that night is so important. It's so important for us. We deserve it so much as supporters. We're so loyal, and we really need that night. We really do.
And that's a fantastic way to look at it. And I think that's, we'll come back to that conversation, in 10 days, 12 days, 14 days time when I'll wrap up end of season podcasts. I guess then, let's take Villa out. We know we'll talk about it next week, but we don't really, as you say, may not even watch it. It's Friday night, so it might help a couple of people in a bit of a post-week work beer, watching it on the telly. But it's all about Bilbao. We're playing a team that is as out of form as us. They've lost at home yesterday to West Ham. Quite convincingly, yet they go and smash.
Did they have a decent? Did United have a decent side out?
It was all right. Yeah, Fernandez played. Højlund played. Yeah, there was changes, but it was the same.
Home.
Well, that's the thing. The same way sort of you wouldn't think so. Well, especially when they beat Bilbao 4-1 at home. The whole way they got don't forget this team was out, dead and buried in the Europa League. Leon Adam gone, and they got those 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. But all in all, the 2 teams that in the domestic season are out of form terribly. Why do we feel so confident, TJ? Why do we feel so confident? I'm glad we do, and I do, but why do we feel so confident?
I think because this season we've done United 3 times as well. I think in the games we've played United this season and in recent times, we've made them look silly. I'm not even joking. Like, they haven't really looked like a good side when they've played us. So we're leaning on the fact that actually recent times have shown us that we can beat this team. So that's where I think the confidence comes from, and the fact that we're Spurs fans. This is what happens. We don't get to finals that often. So the first thing we do when we get there is think it's our time. It's going to happen. It's our time. And
are you both confident?
I am. Yeah, I am.
Really?
I'm quite. Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
I wasn't at all against Liverpool in 2019.
Like T said last week, I think we are literally the same at the moment. They are the 2 teams that are doing everything the same in terms of being so bad in the league, have decent players, and obviously doing things in Europe. I mean, both having a bad season each other. I mean, unless I'm mentally scarred from the finals I've seen us losing in all the semi-finals, but I mean, I'm right on the fence of it. I'm not confident, and that's because what we were speaking about earlier about the years of failure that we've watched in the last 40 years, say, where it's ingrained into us as supporters that we don't feel like we're ever going to win a final, and that's got to change. And I'd like to be going to Bilbao fucking 100% game. We're going to smash them. I just can't, and that's where we are as a club when it comes into major finals, because we don't get over the line because of the club's DNA, and we've also had moments of sort of shitting ourselves in finals. But yeah, fair play to you boys for being confident, mate. I don't know. I mean, we're both as shit as each other this year. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can call it. I really don't.
I'm confident. I feel like, as I said, in 2019 against Liverpool, I didn't feel as confident. I think obviously where they'd been in the league, they'd lost it by a point for 2 years in a row, lost the Champions League the year before, and they, I just felt that they had the rubber to green on that one. This one, I think, because it's so open and you can't really call it, it's made me more confident in a way. Ask me that on the day, and I'm probably shitting bricks, and I can't sit still as a game starts, can't even look at the screen. But I feel like, to be honest, if we do the right things, we can do them. We've beat them twice under Amorim, albeit both at the Lane. We beat them obviously once under Ten Hag. So we've won all 3, which a lot of times would make you go, oh, fucking hell, then the 4th one's the big one when they'll win it. But no, I think for us, I think we can do it. I think we can do it. And I think it's just about being really smart. And because I've seen that with the Frankfurt game and the Bodo game, albeit different competition, different competitors, different opponents, not as good in ability or not as fanciable names. I just think we've got them. We can get them.
Thing is, Lee, all them games you mentioned there, you've been able to sort of judge it over 2 legs, home and away, and you've got to play a bit different. I mean, both games against Bodo and Frankfurt, we were electric at home. When we were away, we was a bit more savvy. With this, I mean, it's one game, it's a final. It's like, how do you approach it? Do you sit there for the first 10 minutes and let them come on top and then pick them off, or do you actually go for it from minute 1? It's hard to. Do you know what I mean? Andrew's these big games, Andrew's had 2 legs to juggle with, and now it's just one game. Yeah. It's like, I can't tell you how he's going to approach it as well. Is it going to be as unpredictable as it normally is? Are we going to have massive gaps at the back? I mean, I just don't know how he manages it. And, we haven't got that sort of faith in him in certain games this year, especially like games at home where we've been so open. So I'll be really interested to see how he approaches the game from the start,
Yeah, I think if he comes at it with a measured approach, like he did with Frankfurt, like he did with Bodo, and dare I say it, like he did against Liverpool in that first leg at Tottenham in the League Cup, I think it was one of our better measured performances. We didn't give them much. We left them to play out wide into the touch lines and didn't really let them inside. It just felt, it's weird with Tottenham because it's like, oh, is that the players sort of taking over, or is that Ange, sort of being a bit more sensible with his style? We don't know. I'm confident in that. Tej, what makes you confident? I'm not going to ask for predictions tonight, but what makes you confident?
I just think it's just mad to say it like this, but I just think it's just the ultimate Spurs thing to do to have the worst season we've ever had and nick a trophy.
Yeah.
It's just so Spurs, isn't it? But I don't know. I feel like I used to believe that United was the one team we couldn't beat. Like for years and years, we didn't beat United. We'd be 3-0 up. They'd do us 5-3. We just never beat them. And then all of a sudden it switched, and they became a bit of a whipping boy team for us. Good performances against them. So yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's just our time. That's literally the only thing that makes me confident. I just think it's our time.
Love it, lads. I won't ask, as I say, for score predictions this week. We'll get through Villa, and then we'll do our preview next week. I must say a big shout out to Richard Bicknell, who has give a big shout out to some of our youth, Malachi Hardy, Byfield, and obviously Williams Barnett have been called up to the England under 17 squad. So that's fantastic. We'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that this summer. I'm sure the games will be on YouTube.
Does Richard want a job within the fucking podcast? I mean, even you didn't know that, Lee. And
I didn't. That was it. No, I didn't know at all. So I sign him up. Yeah, but I'm going to watch a keen eye on that, especially for Williams Barnett, because I do want him in the squad a little bit more. I know he got onto a couple Europa squads around November, December. But I definitely want to see him in the mix some point next season a bit more, see if he gets on, because I think he's a unit, as we've been saying. But I mean, look, lads, I hope tomorrow goes well. What time do tickets come out?
So I'm in phase 1. I've let that one go so that I could join the boys in phase 2. So I think that's a little bit later in the day. And we're going to try and put it in together so that we all get seated together, because it's 2:00. Kev's saying so. 2:00 for the later one. But
lovely.
Yeah, I think I thought about it, and I thought, I could go in there, apply for a ticket myself early, probably get the one I want, and sit where I want. But I want to be with my mates. I mean, these are the sort of things where you just want to be with your mates. Like, so yeah, I'm putting in for a few of the boys tomorrow who've all got accepted. So yeah, hopefully it goes well. I don't know if my Wi-Fi has been glitching, so I definitely won't be doing it on this fucking computer. Let's put it that way. But no, so I'll be in the office tomorrow, so I'll do it then.
How many you got to get?
Should all go fine, hopefully. I feel I've currently got only 5, but I think it might end up being a few more.
Nice, mate. So fingers crossed for you. Let us know how you get on. And everyone who's been listening in and watching in, I mean, there's so many names. We've got our fantastic sponsors, Join IT, alongside Hotspur Heritage, Jade Mick, Paul Miller, Jay Kennedy, L Wings, Ford and Graphics, Hussein Sally, Jamie Bradley, our big friend. Yeah, so many. Obviously, Richard Bicknell will sign you up. Big Bad Rom. There's been so many watching and listening tonight. We really, really appreciate it. It's obviously a weird time. You know what I mean? We've got a game on Friday and we're not even really thinking about it, because the only thing we care about it is someone don't get injured. Obviously, Kulu yesterday came off pretty early, but I think that was just precaution. I am keeping my fingers crossed. I've not heard anything more about it, so it seems like it's not too bad. But lads, have a good week. I hope it goes well tomorrow and you get your tickets that you want and everyone's together. And this time next week, we will be previewing the final. We'll be previewing the final just before you lot head out to Bilbao. What day are you going, Kev?
I'm going early hours of Tuesday morning.
Right. Okay. Monday night, we'll be talking. We'll get our score predictions down. Monday night, Heart Now here. Lads, all the very best. And no, it's been very, very tough. 20 losses, but a final. What are we to think? We're to think we are going to win this fucking Europa League. This is a Heart Now here, Spurs Fans podcast. We'll see you next Monday night. Come on, you Spurs.